Welcome. Today we're going to be reviewing the Rinnai RX199i tankless model. Actually, one of my favorite tanklesses. It's the one that I have in my house. I will never not have a tankless. A few reasons why is endless hot water. So you can leave your shower on for a week and it'll be just as hot as when you left. Don't do that because then your water and gas bill will be enormous. I personally like Rinnai because they have been doing it for a really long time. Started in Japan, been over there for 30, 40 years plus. So they kind of perfected the tankless world. We have the technology over here. It's been around here for a while, but they are super reliable pieces of equipment. There's a lot going on inside of them. But in the 6 years I've had mine, I have not had a single problem with it. This Rinnai, a couple differences. Obviously things have kind of upgraded over the years. In the past, the older model tanklesses were literally just a box on the wall. Really no temperature controls, nothing you could really do to it. Now we've got digital readouts. It tells you if anything's wrong with it, as well as they have little control panels that you can put inside your bathroom to control it without having to go in the attic or the garage or anywhere, which is really, really cool. To have, you can literally dial up the temperature if you want it hotter, or if you want to lower the temperature if your children are about to use the tub or shower and you don't want them risking getting burnt. So even before I had a tankless or this tankless, I was putting Rinnais in. So I've been doing this for 20 years now, and I have had less people calling about issues with the Rinnais, just again because of their proven track record and how long they've been doing this. So this is one of the main models we want to install just because of that proven track record and the less headaches down the road, 3, 4, 5 years from now that customers would have from these units.
What features does it have to reduce headaches?
A couple really cool things that you will notice. Yes, there's a lot going on in here, but probably one of the main components that tends to go out on these is kind of this heat exchanger here, which is where all the water passes through. This is actually where all the heating happens. You'll notice this is stainless steel. The older ones used to be copper. So copper over time, we've all seen the Statue of Liberty. It's also made of copper, turns green, corrodes, all that. Water is naturally corrosive, so it'll eat away at that copper eventually. Whereas here, stainless steel water is not going to do that. So you've got a way longer lifespan on the internal working components of this unit than older models, or even still some new models today of different brands will still have that copper tank in there. And also another really cool feature of the tanklesses, they are way more efficient than the tank style water heaters because they also use the heat produced in here to kind of recirculate that heat and use it also to heat the water. So you're not wasting as much of the hot air produced by the burners like on the old tank heaters where half of the hot air produced just goes right through the middle of it and out the roof. So these are way more energy efficient and in the long run will save you a lot on your water heating costs.
Where are the vents on this?
This one is actually sucking air in, right? So it's pulling air in to help that recirculating. It's a lot like a car air intake. So it's pulling air in to kind of make all this work and kind of recirculate that air. And then this one is the exhaust. This one will go out the roof. This one you can actually, so a lot of times if you're replacing a tank style heater or even a tankless, there will be a hole in your roof for it. Old style, you would have to make a whole nother hole in the roof. This one can actually pull air from the garage or the attic or whatever, and so you don't have to make that separate roof penetration. So the swap out from a tank to a tankless is pretty seamless. And
that's usually one of the bigger things that creates expense is new venting when you're installing a tankless.
Yes. So a big problem with the venting on a lot of units is, that separate hole. You'll have to get, a roofer out sometimes to, put the hole in, put new flashing in and all that stuff. This model, again, simple swap out with your existing tank and existing vent system most of the time. So that additional cost usually isn't there. We get calls all the time for people who have, had somebody else put in a tankless, or they just move into a house with a tankless and they're like, fantastic, I have instant hot water. So slight difference. It is not instant, it is endless. So As mentioned, like you can turn the water on and it'll just be hot forever. The main reason I got a tankless was because I got tired of having cold showers after my wife and several kids had showers, and then I was stuck with the cold shower. So now I don't have that problem anymore, and I absolutely love it. So if you never want to run out of hot water again, tankless is the way to go. However, to solve the instant hot water problem, because the water still has to travel from here to wherever you're asking for the water to come to, kitchen faucet, shower, anywhere, you still have to wait for that. So these newer models of tankless also come with built-in pumps that actually recirculate the water throughout the system, so that now when you turn on a faucet, the hot water is 3 to 5 feet away as opposed to 100 feet away. So that cuts way down, again, energy savings, water savings, if you don't have to wait on the hot water to get there. Great news is a lot of the tankless models out there are some changes you can make to them, and then we can add an external recirculating pump to create that instant hot water for you, or the shorter wait time for the hot water, even if you don't happen to have a model with that built-in recirculating loop. Models like this Rinnai, it comes pre-built inside it, so literally it has timers. There's a really cool app that you can download from the manufacturer, so you can control everything on your phone, set the recirculating timers, so it's not running all the time. If you take showers in the morning, have it running for 2 to 3 hours in the morning, and in the evening, you can set those controls inside the app itself, so that now you're not just running this thing 24 hours a day. It'll prolong the life, and you're only have that instant hot water when you need it.
So you can retrofit it if your model doesn't have it, but if you're looking at upgrading or you're looking at getting one for the first time, then might as well just get one with the recirculation pump and not have either problem.
Yeah, if you happen to have a tankless that doesn't have that built-in recirculating model or recirculating pump, most tanklesses allow for that upgrade. We would have to come out and just verify that yes, in fact, we can. There's a couple settings in there, so not all tanklesses can support a recirculating pump. But if you're thinking about upgrading to a tankless, that is a great time to just go ahead and get all the bells and whistles with that built-in recirc pump, so that now you don't ever have to wait on hot water, and you have as much hot water as you are ever going to want or need.
It'd be less expensive to get one with it built in rather than adding one later. Is that a generally true statement?
Yeah, and in the long run, you could go buy a tankless and then, decide later to add the pump, but the cost for, the install for 2 separate installs, as well as the cost for just the materials themselves, would be greater if you wait. So again, it's actually cheaper, more economical just to get, the top of the line model, as opposed to, adding it down the road, because you really won't be saving any money at that point. Also, there are tanklesses that have been around for 10, 15 years. If it hasn't been maintained, you're just moving into a house, no maintenance records, anything like that, and it's time to upgrade your tankless, that would be the perfect time to upgrade to this Rinnai model with that built-in recirculating pump. Or if you have the old tank style, a lot of times this unit here can replace 2 tanks and give you just as much capacity to run multiple showers at the same time. This one here, standard shower heads, it'll run up to 4 showers at a time. So, if you're thinking about upgrading from the tank styles to a tankless, you only need one of these for 1 or 2 tank heaters, and it'll save you a ton of space and or worry of, a lot of times the tanks are in the attic, so having that much weight and water over your head is oftentimes not a good feeling. Another issue we commonly get called out for on tankless units, like this Rinnai, is an error code for insufficient gas supply. A lot of times you'll be washing dishes or giving the kids a bath or in the middle of a shower and water goes cold. That is one of the worst experiences you can have as a homeowner. So people are like, oh no, my tankless is not working. More times than not, it's actually not the tankless in that scenario. It is actually because when it was installed, the gas system itself wasn't sized properly for the unit. They do need a lot of gas. They need more gas than your standard tank. So a qualified professional needs to come out, size the gas system, and make sure that it can accommodate a tankless. If it can't, then we will recommend upgrades to the gas system to make sure running out of hot water or going cold on you in the middle of a shower never ever happens. But that code, it requires a 3/4 inch gas line running to the unit just to supply enough gas. And again, that usually will eliminate that from ever happening, running out of hot water. One thing I really like about this unit is the brass here for your hot and cold water intake and outgoing lines. Brass is super substantial material, and it's not going to, you know, deteriorate like any other things, and it's not as much of a failure point. Here, not a huge fan of the drain outlets being plastic. Again, as we're connecting to it, there is the chance that plastic can strip or break, whereas the brass won't. So that would be one downside of this particular unit. So, as part of a maintenance visit on a tankless, we come out and think of all of these tubes in here as your arteries. So, when you go to the doctor or something, you hear about plaque buildup, things like that. You do need to service these units annually, because scale and, you know, the stuff in the water will gradually build up on the inside. So we do what's called a descale, where we run a solution through this entire system for, you know, 30-45 minutes, depending upon how bad that scale buildup is, and it kind of restores those pipes back to, you know, like new condition. So you're able to get 20, 25, 30 years out of a tankless, whereas normal lifespan on a tank is 8 to 12 years. Okay. As part of that maintenance, these units do come with a built-in filter. So water passes through here and it'll keep debris and sand and things like that from clogging up the unit or clogging up your shower heads. So as part of our maintenance, we will clean this off, or, you know, if the water flow ever dips down or drops down, that is a good place to check for a problem. So, in conclusion, I like this model the best because, one, I've used it for many, many years. I've installed it for many, many years. It has a built-in recirculating pump, which allows for a lot quicker water delivery, as well as the stainless steel heat chamber, which means this thing is going to last you a lot longer than other models or a standard tank heater will. As well as the convenience of the exterior control panel, so now you don't even have to go to this unit ever to change the temperature, and the in-app controls for your recirculating pump or temperature changes. So, if you never want to run out of hot water again, give us a call at Mother Modern Plumbing and ask for a new Rinnai.